Content warning, y'all. We have lots of fun making this podcast, but remember, we watch a lot of R-rated films, use language that reflects that, and joke about heavy topics to create levity around these themes. If that doesn't feel safe or could be triggering, please take care of yourself. We want you to have fun listening too. This also means we might not be suitable for children. Oh yeah, and we spoil the end of all the movies we pod about. Thanks for listening. What are you waiting for? That's so rude. I sound so rude. Sometimes I make myself mad. Welcome to another
DUI
edition.
Dishonorable Unmentionable insertion.
Ew.
No.
Ew.
No, I'm sorry.
Why?
Because it starts with I.
Oh. Dishonorable Unmentionables episode.
There we go. Fixed it. All right.
This week we're gonna talk about the Quentin Tarantinos that I have successfully
Duped me into watching.
tricked Keith into watching.
Yeah.
It secretly, I mean, to be fair, the first one we started watching the first one we watched was Jackie Brown, because it stars Pam Grier, who's amazing, and also has Michael Keaton in it. So it was like, yeah,
well, that's right.
who is I mean, Michael.
What
Keaton,
is that character?
Michael Keaton in this movie is amazing, and just his wardrobe alone. And
yeah, apparently he didn't want to do it. Right?
he didn't want. Yeah, he Quentin Tarantino had to like convince him to do it, and he like repeatedly tried to convince like Quentin Tarantino he was not right for the part. Like he was like, no, I shouldn't. And Quentin Tarantino, I mean, who cares about what Quentin Tarantino says? But in relation to Michael Keaton, I'll listen. He said that that's just Michael Keaton's whole personality. It's just that's how he is.
Trying to talk you out of.
I get like
hiring him or something?
I don't know. But yeah,
he plays a cop who wears things like a leather jacket. He rides a motorcycle, so he's always wearing this leather jacket. But there's one scene where he crosses his legs, and you can tell he's wearing shorts and still has a jacket on.
Yeah, I don't. And like, is he wearing like flip flops or something?
Probably.
Yeah. So I should say, I don't want to say it's a good movie because it is a Quentin Tarantino film. But it's one of the more interesting ones.
Yeah.
I think it's because, and it's the only one told in chronological order.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. He does not do that.
Huh. I didn't even think of that.
But it is based on a book. So that's
right.
I
that helps too.
That to it being better. We also watched the Kill Bill movies, which I also attribute those to being better because Uma Thurman
had some input.
Yeah. Co-created those
and it nearly killed her.
I know. Like that's the thing about like, I mean, it's weird because like supposedly they've made up because because her daughter was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay. And
people were like, why? How come after you said he's the horrible monster who tried to kill you? How do you feel about your daughter being in it? And they were like, it's fine. Nothing's wrong with it. And I was like, ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I feel weird about that.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, Quentin Tarantino's a piece of shit. I just want to clarify that.
Okay. Clarified.
He's a racist piece of shit. Love his films, though.
So being in my late teens and early 20s in the 90s,
Here's the tea.
and trying to get into cinema.
Yeah.
It was kind of an exciting time because it was it was the boom of quote independent
yeah.
film, like independent movie makers getting signed to
Yeah.
major studios.
Yeah.
So whatever it was.
Yeah,
I
I
think
definitely
it
miss.
gets compared to the 70s in that regard, right?
Yeah, I miss that sort of like feeling of like the 90s and just very very early aughts where that was like a thing.
Uh-huh.
Now it's like, oh, it's a thing. Oh, this independent filmmaker, and you're like, oh, cool, and it's like, whose dad has been in cinema since?
Right.
And I'm like, that's not independent. Okay.
Well, right, and everybody made a big deal about Tarantino because he worked in a video store, and that was
which
his
I think is
film.
cool. I think it's cool.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, so did Mary Catherine Gallagher.
I said this to you. I just want to.
Yep.
I just real quick before you. That the only thing like I appreciate that his whole thing is that he worked in a video store. He didn't have any like film training, all that stuff. Great. If he were a woman and all of that stuff were true and he was doing the same shit, he would be mocked, laughed at, and not taken seriously. So that's another beef I have.
That would all be true just if he was a woman, period.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Just continue.
Yeah.
Just continue.
Just continue.
I was saying, I just wanted to say that, and I want to be like, continue, and I just condensed it to just continue.
Yeah.
Already.
All I'm trying to talk about is that, I watched at the time that they came out some of his films.
Yeah.
And was about them, sort of, or tried to be about them. I don't know. It feels very similar to my relationship to bands like Pearl Jam or Nirvana, where like
just trying to be
I
cool.
can't actually tell you if I liked them or still like them.
Yeah.
But I watched them and participated in the zeitgeist of the moment.
Yeah.
So I saw Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and Natural Born Killers and even True Romance that he wrote but didn't direct, I think is how it goes. I saw all of those at the time, not necessarily in the theaters, but I saw them in the 90s is my point. And then I was like, no, I mean, I'm kind of over it. He kind of seems like the female characters seem to, I don't know. There just seemed to be like at that time, it's goes along with my personal growth and my political awareness.
Yeah.
Like trying to be a feminist and being weird about the sort of glorification of violence or the making violence humorous, which I felt like his movies did.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. Those things started to turn me off.
Yeah.
And then there were rumors, or I started hearing things. Not that I followed him or anything, or even the industry or whatever, but his relationship to the N word and and how he treated actresses and
right.
The one time I saw him in LAX standing next to a Asian woman who looked much younger than him.
Oh.
Anyway, they weren't touching or anything.
Yeah, he. Oh.
Anyway, so he was someone I loved to hate on for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I fell out of, I got disenchanted with him and David Lynch around the same time for similar reasons.
Yep.
Since then, I would say over the last, I don't know, really since I moved here, having particularly female assigned people, or AFAB, I should say, assigned at birth people, say that they enjoy movies like Death Proof.
Oof, Death Proof. Honestly, one of my, it's up there. It's so good. It is so good.
A favorite?
Yes, I fucking love it. Also, I do want to say, I was like, I don't know, it came out in like 2006 or something, 2005, 2006. It came out with Planet Terror, which I did
What is that?
not enjoy. It was a double feature.
Oh,
It was
I don't think
like
I heard of
they
it.
they
I don't know about that one.
it was weird. I didn't see them in the theater, but they released them as a double feature.
Okay.
And Planet Terror played, and then there was an intermission, and then Death Proof.
Okay.
And they were like connected, like yeah, it was just Planet Terror.
Was it like the thing he did with what's his name, Robert
Yeah,
Rodriguez?
yes, that's what it is.
Okay.
But I did not enjoy Planet Terror. It's very I don't know. There was just it's like and it has a completely different tone. I mean, it's fine. It's a different film. It's a different
Right.
but a lot of the same actors.
Okay.
A lot of like Quentin Tarantino is in it. Like it just like
So it's more it's more akin to, I'm assuming, Death to Dawn or whatever it's called. What's it called? Dust to Dawn.
oh
Right? Because
yeah.
then they wasn't it like
Oh, Quentin Tarantino wrote that and
he wrote that
directed it.
both
No, I believe Robert Rodriguez
directed,
directed it. Yes.
and then Planet Terror they didn't swap. I thought they did one of those.
No, one of them is done by. It was like a collaborative project, but one of them
Okay.
was done by Robert Rodriguez, and the other was done by Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
But they released them together, like as a pair.
Planet Terror and Death Proof.
Yes.
Okay.
And Planet Terror, like, oh yeah.
Well, so
but I just want to say, like, not Death. I mean, Planet Terror didn't do anything for it. Like, it was just, it's just a movie. It's like really fantastical, really ridiculous. It's about like aliens, I think, or something. I don't know.
sorry,
Not
vampires.
Done really like, yeah. I don't know. There's just like, yeah, it's really weird. It's fine. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it when I watched it. I don't remember I remember being like, ugh, this doesn't feel good to watch. So there's probably like lots of sexual assault in it or something. But Death Proof is just like it starts and like the first the first
I've watched like half of it.
see the first half is like, oh, I know what kind of movie this is going to be. And the second half is like, bitch, you don't fucking know shit. And oh, I love it so much. Anyway, it's honestly probably one of my favorite
That's
movies.
fine.
I feel a
like
little
I said,
bit embarrassed.
You're not the only one.
I feel a little bit embarrassed by that because it is Quentin Tarantino. But the first half also is like, I don't know, there's something about it that did, young, just discovering her queerness or their queerness. Z was
Feeling some things.
yeah, I was like, oh, there's like a scene where like one of the girls puts on like music on a jukebox and is like wearing really short shorts,
Takes her shoes off.
and is right, pretty much, and is dancing.
I remember there being multiple scenes.
Yes.
Retrospectively, before I knew this was a thing in his movies.
Yes.
That they're like in a convertible and somebody has their feet
correct.
sitting in the back seat
Yes.
with their feet on the
Yeah,
back
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, he
So oh god.
I was gonna say it just like there's like a whole scene where like she puts music on the jukebox and is like her ass is like just and I was like young queer Z was like, I like this for some reason, I don't know why, I was very like so like it definitely did some like awakening for me. Also it's like women being like, oh fuck you don't get to hurt me, and I'm like, yes, fuck yes, so much fun.
So and it seems to be the first movie where is that before or after Kill Bill's?
It was after.
Okay. So you might
like
you can put Kill Bill in there.
Yeah.
But since then, I don't know. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I don't really know.
I haven't seen that.
I have no interest and I don't know what it's about.
Yeah,
but Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained, they seem to be all similar in taking a group, sort of a persecuted group, and doing sort of a revenge fantasy kind of
yeah.
trope.
Yeah.
So I only bring that up because it's like hearing from women that they like Death Proof, and I've had a Jewish person tell me that they liked Inglourious Bastards for similar reasons.
Oh yeah, that one's a good. I like this is the thing I kind of resent about Quentin Tarantino movies, because he definitely does do the thing where he's like, we're gonna have a movie where we're just fuck you Nazis.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to say it's like this thing where you're like, yes, I love watching Nazis get it, but it's like it's like a thing where they're like not shying away from how fucking awful it was.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of things like do like the like really like tragedy, like it was so sad and everything is like dismal, and he's just like, they were brutal and they didn't give a fuck. It wasn't like it wasn't just this sad, it wasn't like a sad piano music playing in the background. They would just like walk in and like just shoot you in the head. It wasn't a sad somber thing. It was violent and horrible.
It's Michael Madsen cutting off somebody's ear.
Yeah.
While stuck in the middle.
Right. So he's showing this thing, and I feel like, I don't want to say it's the only time I've ever seen. It's not like that, but it's like he's definitely showing Nazis as being unsympathetic fucking assholes. And I feel like a lot of people show, like, they want to do the thing where it's like, they made a decision, you know, it was so difficult, but they decided to be bad. But he's just like, no, they're just fucking awful people. And then you get to see like them getting their comeuppance, and you're like, oh wow, this is
the thing that's still I'm uncomfortable about, like, that keeps me from wanting to watch these movies, is that you have to see, particularly it's hard for me to see. I mean, I haven't seen Inglourious Basterds or Django.
Yeah.
And again, only seen part of Death Proof.
Right.
But we did watch Kill Bill. I sort of watched over her shoulder Kill Bill. I mean, I pretty much watched the second one.
Yeah.
But
you were like, I'm going to play video games. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and watch the second half of Kill Bill. And you're like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to pay attention.
Basically immediately.
Yeah, you were like, close your laptop. You're like, what did they say? My favorite was the first one when I was like, is it okay if I watch the first half? Because you were like, I'm going to play games so you can put on whatever TV you want. And I said, is it cool if I put on Kill Bill Volume 1? And you said, I am so happy to not pay attention to that. And then like immediately you were like, what did he say? What's going on? Who said that?
Well, I did the same shit with like Sweet November, I think. The Gift.
No, Sweet November, you were like, this is horrible. You played most of the way through that one.
Anyway.
But The Gift, you were like, literally 5 minutes in, you like had, your laptop was closed and
right. It was the credits. I didn't know everybody was, so many people were in it. Anyway.
Yeah.
What's hard for me is you have to watch the abuse of the person who gets revenge in the second half.
Yes. And I will say this. Sorry.
The fact that it's like has to be violence against women.
Yes.
It's hard for me. And
I'm going to say this. There, like, when I was younger, it didn't hit me as hard because I didn't get sexually assaulted until I was in my 20s. So a lot of stuff that came out, like, you know, I had some abuse happen as a child, but like so after that happened, things hit differently. Weird. So like when I was like younger, like 18, 19, all of these were like, oh, this is so cool. I'm not bothered by like women getting their plotline being furthered by horrific rape or whatever.
Right.
Okay, rape as a joke. Don't care. But like once that stuff, you know, once I was like dealing with my own trauma in that way, I was like, oh God, I don't enjoy this as much. So like my view of it, like when I was younger, it was different. And then like the older I got and the more like trauma I endured and slash was, you know, recovering from and dealing with and working through, it's not as easy, you know, to like watch this stuff and be like, you just have to put raping women in everything that you do. Like, it's very like Kill Bill, you know, the coma thing where it's like implied that she's just been raped for 4 years in a coma. I'm like, oh my God. I forgot about it. I knew that was in there, but I thought it was, I didn't remember it the way that it was. I thought that it was like the first time, like when it was about to happen, she woke up or something. Like I didn't realize what, and it was like, oh my God, and it's like, yeah, I agree that that shit happens, like,
Right.
to people. And I'm not saying that you have to pretend it doesn't, but it doesn't
Right.
need to be played for laughs.
Agree.
And it doesn't need to be in a movie where it's, great. And like a lot of times they get their comeuppance,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's like that. And
Well, sort of. I mean, that's
well,
arguable.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like
Debatable,
that's fine, but you don't have to do that.
Right.
You can have someone be an awful person without it having to be rape in order for them to get their comeuppance.
Also, that part has nothing to do with the rest of the
Right.
arc of the
Right.
movie.
No. But I believe that it was done in a way to emphasize that immediately upon waking from her coma, she's still a deadly assassin. Like, and she still even her legs are, her muscles have atrophied, because she's been in a coma for 4 years. She doesn't hesitate and she kills these people. And I think it was like, I mean, it's that thing of like, you don't need to put that in as a way to like make it okay for her to kill someone. Like, first of all, she's an assassin. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Like, the whole movie's about her killing.
Are you justifying every...
Right, exactly. And like, to a degree, yes, but like, just because the crazy 88s are coming after her doesn't mean they're all horrible people. It just means they've been asked to go after her.
Right.
They've, they're protecting someone.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're not bad people, we believe that they're bad guys because she's the good person, but she's not a good
coming
person.
for the antagonist.
Yeah. So like that's my main issue with his stuff as an adult, is that he puts things in there as a way to like be like, yeah, I'm not shying away from the gruesomeness.
Right.
Which I appreciate that in some ways, and in other ways I'm like, hey, this doesn't belong to you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And like he doesn't just do it with one thing, he does it with everything. And it's like, hey,
Right.
all this stuff doesn't belong to you. Like,
Right.
it's cool that you're doing it as like a cis white dude with tons of success and money. These things don't belong to you.
Right.
So stop, know.
Right.
And like, yeah, his whole like the N-word shit. I'm like, dude. No. I mean, there's some hyper fetishization going on of Black culture, and it's very
well, and Asian culture.
Asian. Yeah. I mean, basically, yeah, and women, like, even in like the like getting victory over your rapist thing, that is also like a fetishization of women.
Right.
Like, you see them as, like you're, yeah, it's like a very, it's, Having said that, I really want you to watch Death Proof.
Oh, man.
Also, Inglourious Basterds, so good.
Well, you've told me that I've seen the rest of the movie is just the revenge that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
What I haven't seen of the rest of the movie is just the revenge
Well,
parts.
yeah, I was going to say, like, the first part is, like, setting it up so he's just a fucking awful person.
Right.
And, like, so that that after that, you're like, oh, shit, these girls are in danger, and you're worried for them. And then you're like, oh, never mind. I don't have to be, never mind.
Right.
But, I was going to say something. Inglourious Basterds, though, Christoph Waltz, I think, his performance is so good. I love Christoph Waltz. Right. And that's part of why I went, because I think he's so good in it. And he anyway, he's great.
Jackie Brown, I really liked for the most part.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It's, again, the N-word needs to, you
chill it out.
Yeah, you can stop doing that, Quentin. But yeah, I think story plot, I think it was really sweet, and I loved like the little romance, and I love how it ends with her just like in the car and the song is playing. It's just it's really, and I think I like how stylized Quentin Tarantino movies are. I do like how.
Yeah, and Jackie Brown is actually pretty subtle.
It is
for him.
Yeah, and I think it's really,
and given that it's I mean, I think he probably does more in other movies, but it feels like it's if he's draw, it's usually pretty clear that he's drawing from other
Yeah.
sources. And for Jackie Brown, if we assume that, it's a lot of blaxploitation movies
Yes.
from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as that goes, it is fairly subtle. I feel like
Yeah. Info. What?
Infowars.
Quick little interjection. Kill Bill, no original music.
Oh, that doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me,
Yeah.
but like there was it was all borrowed from other soundtracks.
Yeah. Well, let's get through Jackie Brown.
No,
If
that's
that's
all I
okay.
want. That's all I wanted to say about
Okay.
it. That's it. That's why I said real quick.
All I really wanted to say more about Jackie Brown is that I thought Robert Forster was amazing. Loved
so
him.
Good. Yeah.
Pam Grier, obviously.
That was his comeback.
Yeah. Well, he died not too long after, right?
I mean, a little while.
Oh, okay.
a couple,
Sorry.
couple few years.
3 years? Oh, 2019. Sorry, Robert. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like
De Niro.
Oh my God!
I almost forget he's in that movie.
I forgot he was in it.
Yeah.
And then watching it again, I had already forgotten he was
Same.
in it. Yeah. And
I was like, who kills Bridget Fonda?
I know. Like literally, you're like Robert De Niro, and I'm like, oh my God, that's where he kills Bridget Fonda.
Spoilers.
Yeah. And
Anyway,
yeah.
so far,
Yeah.
the first in the 21st century, the first Tarantino movie that I can, with mild reservations, recommend.
Yeah.
If you haven't
And
seen.
I think what I like about I think Kill Bill is an interesting I like the ending. I like the ending a lot, like how she goes there and confronts him and they talk and they,
He talks though.
He talks, but she tells him what happened and why she did it and stuff and why she left and then they don't even I like that, he's the last one and they basically don't even fight. She just does the 5-point palm exploding heart technique.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I like that he's like, Pai Mei showed you that, and she's like, of course he did. I'm like, and I like it. I think it actually ends really beautiful because it's like, that's what she, her whole point is that, we could never have anything. We couldn't have a future. We couldn't have a family. It's not something that was plausible with you because this is who we are.
Right.
And this is how, and there's a sense of this is always how it was supposed to end.
Mm-hmm.
And she,
I did so I think I like the second volume 2 better than volume 1.
Yeah.
Mostly because I like the whole stuff with Pai Mei.
Yeah.
But in David Carradine's one of his multiple fucking monologues when she gets to the house, I do like the whole thing about superheroes and Clark Kent is
Yeah. When that struck me. That's something I think about all the time though, because that struck me at the time. I was like, yeah, I never thought about it in those terms.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. So when you were like, oh fuck, I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, the whole shit with the showdown. Well, any of the stuff with what's she called, Elle?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Daryl Hannah's character.
Yeah.
In the second volume.
Oh, she was great.
I mean, she's great through the whole
thing,
but when she shows up and kills Madsen, and then the fight scene with her, and
when she how she kills Madsen, and she's just reading to him the info. Oh my god, she's great.
Just reading. But and a lot of the fun of both movies is the martial arts style fight scenes.
Yeah.
The sword play and the stuff like that. But especially because of the music, I think I felt like I was constantly reminded of anything cool he's lifted from somewhere else.
Yeah. Fun fact, in the first movie, Go-Go, the one who has the ball and chain, she when she was swinging her shit around, she hit Quentin Tarantino.
Oh,
in
nice.
the face.
Good.
Because there's like a scene where like it flies past the camera and he was like
Oh,
next
yeah.
to the camera and it flies past and apparently bashed him in the face. Woo. But yeah, like I think I remember when I was younger, the first one I liked a lot and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait for the second one." And then when the second one came out, it's very tonally different
Yeah.
than the first one, and I remember being like, "Oh, this one's kind of boring." And now I'm like, "Oh my god, the second one has so much more than the first one does." There's so much more to it and I like it so much better. So that's another interesting thing where I was like, "Oh, wow." I remember when I was young, I was just like, "Oh, yeah, I want to see like, action."
Right.
And now I'm like, "Oh man, the second one. Whoo." And I really like
Well-
watching it. I'm like, clearly this movie influenced me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what it was, like Carradine and David Carradine and Uma Thurman. I'm like, man, they have some chemistry going on. They were very, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
They were very believable as I don't know what it was, but there was like something. I was like, yeah, I believe that they're sad about like how this all is ending, for them. And like when he like I was like almost crying when he was like when he like shows up at the wedding rehearsal and they're like talking and they're just like interacting and it's just like they're so like close and like not touching, and then he's like, "Can I watch?" And she like kisses him. He's supposed to be her. She tells him he's her dad, and then she like kisses him and stuff. I was like, God, there's something really. And then
I
at
think
the
she
end,
walks out and he's playing a fucking shakuhachi or whatever.
But I like at the end when she does the palm trick on him, and he like if he stands up, he's gonna die basically. And he's just like, "How do I look?" And it's like that music is playing. And it's so. I'm like, oh man, it's like it feels like a really like beautiful story. But like the first one, you're like, "Fuck Bill," and then the second one, you're like, "Man, they turned it around a little bit." Like I don't think Bill's a good person, and I don't think Bill, but like, and he's awful and he does awful things and he should die. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, they did. They made you see let you glimpse a little bit of that they did have something together. It wasn't just, because I think it wouldn't have made sense.
Right.
That they were together and they were having a kid together. I mean, he didn't know that, but and and then she just left and then he, thought he killed her. He killed everybody that she loves and shit. And like the whole movie is just her wanting revenge, or the whole first movie is her wanting revenge. And the second movie, you're like, oh, like he's a real person. He's not, he is a real person. And I like when this podcast is like probably like 4 hours long. I like when she finds out BB is alive, like her kid didn't die. Like she thinks the whole time that her. Also, like when she wakes up from the coma and her belly's not there and she just loses her shit. It's really like impactful. It's very impactful. But when he's like, "Yeah, I shot mom. I shot your mom," and she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "'Cause I was upset, and I felt." Like I thought it would make everything better. And she's like, "Did it?" And he's like, "Nope. I didn't feel good and everything felt bad and I wasn't happy and it didn't make anything better." And like, that's fucked up. But I'm like, wow, he's literally telling his kid, yeah, you're, like, and when she like, she takes her, like, when she leaves BB to like have her fight with him, she takes off her necklace and she puts it on there. And I was like, oh, because she doesn't know if she's coming back. And like, he didn't know if he was coming back. So they both are like leaving something for BB. He's like telling her, like, this is what I did to your mother. And she's like leaving her necklace because neither one of them knows who's gonna make it. And so like, I'm like, wow, and so he's basically telling her why your mom is about to kill me.
Yeah. Because one of us is going to die.
I shot your mommy in the head. And yeah.
Call an ambulance.
But not for your mom. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, I mean, like, Quentin Tarantino's, like, a bastard.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
But let's watch more of his. No,
Jesus.
yeah. But that's the thing. Like, after I watched, I haven't watched anything after Django. That's the last movie of his
Oh, you
I
watched Django?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
And yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, honestly.
Has he done anything besides?
He did The Hateful Eight, and then he did.
I was gonna
watch that one, and I was like, never mind, because I don't know. I heard like some shit about it, and I was like, nah, I don't know that I want to. And then
I
Once Upon a
confused that
Time
one
in
with
Hollywood.
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I don't care about it. Like it's like anything that I haven't seen and have like no nostalgia over. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't really,
right.
Like I don't really want to. Gotta get that signature. Anyway. So yeah. That's all I have to.
That's it for our very special episode. Non-mini mini.
I was gonna say this. If this ends up not being a mini-sode, it's because I talked for an hour and a half.
We're only at 35 minutes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I feel like I've been talking for 2 hours about it.
I feel like you've been talking for 2 hours. Just kidding.
A fuck. A you.
Granted.
Aww. I do want to say this is really like you'll probably cut this out because you don't want to hear it, but I really like doing the podcast with you. And I like
Likewise.
you. I like you and I have fun doing it, so gross.
Yeah, I don't know why you have to say that to everybody. All 4 regular listeners, thanks you guys.
I want them to know that all boyfriends are horrible people.
ABAC.
All boyfriends are crap.
All boyfriends are literally perfection.
Ding.
That sound was me winking.
Ding. That sound I made was Keith winking.
Correct.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino movies, though. Yeah, I don't mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with them?
Historically, not watch them.
That's true. I have envy. I will say I have envy because I'm like, yeah, I'm a loser who's just worked in like movie theaters and shit. Like, where can I have Tim Roth and Harvey Keitel hold bloody hands in a car for me? Like, come on.
All I got with it was this lousy podcast.
But yeah, like Tim Roth, if you're out there and you want to do an independent film shot with my really terrible camera and $60 mic that I bought off the internet,
you may need
hit
to
me up.
You may need to send him a script.
No, he can write it himself.
Well, that's a different proposition.
All right. I think the moral of the story is Quentin Tarantino sucks.
By all accounts, a horrible person in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Like, yeah.
There's no real reason to support him.
Remember that time that he, like, literally, like, fucking tried to kill Uma Thurman while filming a movie? Oh, whatever. They made up.
It's cool, bruh.
What? Good Lord. That's all I have to say about QT.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for watching.
Let us know. Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting to do this.
What?
We have an email address.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
No one writes to it, and why would you? We barely acknowledge it anywhere.
Yes.
But if you have any questions,
Mm-hmm.
if you have the questions, I'll be over here. Yeah, send us questions, and maybe we'll answer them if they're not.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're weird, we'll probably answer them too.
Z.ANT.K.POD.
ZNK pod.
At Gmail.
Gargamel.
At gmail.com. talk to you later.
Woo-woo! Thanks for
We're
listening.
gonna go ahead and let us go.
Yeah.